Good morning, fifth graders. I hope you're having a wonderful week so far and you're enjoying our distance learning since we get to do it for the rest of the school year. And I can't wait to see you guys tomorrow and so we can talk and chat and just see how everything is going. So let's talk about our agenda for today. So today we're going to work on page 263 and 264 in our math books. And then you have ST Math to do, 25 minutes. And then you have science. And for science today, there's a link for Brain Pop. And there's a little video for you to watch that kind of gives you an overview of ecosystems. And then I'd like you to choose one activity to do with ecosystems. So there's Create Your Own Movie. There's vocabulary, where you learn about the different vocabulary terms that have to do with ecosystems. So there's lots of different choices on there for you. So just choose whichever one looks fun to you, okay? And that's it. So I just want to remind you that I changed our REACH schedule. So for REACH, I will see groups 1 and 2 tomorrow, and I will see groups 3, 4, and 5 on Friday. And we will be doing that right after our live session. Our live sessions are 8:30 to 9:30. And then our REACH groups will be from 9:30 to 10. And that's it. That's all you have. So, of course, if you have any questions, please come see me during my office hours of 12:30 to 1:30. I can help you if you're stuck on ST Math. Please also know that grades are posted in Canvas. So what you are turning in, I do record. Your quizzes, your assignments, your checklists, all of that. Because even though we are not returning to school, I am required to keep you guys accountable for the work that you're doing and collect that. So if you have any questions about what work you're missing, please check out your grades tab in Canvas, and then you can see what I actually put missing on there if I haven't gotten it. So, and of course you always have time to turn it in. So if you're missing something, you can go back in and turn it in. Okay? All right, well, let's get started. So let's open up our books to page 263 right now. 263. We're doing our practice pages, and we're working on subtracting mixed numbers. So let's go ahead and start with number 1. Number 1 says, now use the fraction bars to find 3 3/8 minus 1 1/4. Okay, so fraction bars are our picture it. So first let me write down what we're finding. We're finding 3 3/8 minus 1 1/4. Well, before I do my fraction bars, I want to go ahead and find my lowest common multiple. So my two denominators are 8 and 4. So 8 and 4. And let's go ahead and write our multiples of 8. So we have 8, 16, 24, and I'm going to stop there. And let's go ahead and do our 4. So we have 4, 8, 12, 16. So what is our lowest common multiple here? What is our lowest common multiple? 8, yeah, 8. Well, since this one is already an 8, I don't have to change this fraction at all. But this one is not an 8, so I do need to change it. I'm going to keep my 1 the same, and I'm going to multiply my 4 times 2 so that I now have 8 as my denominator. And then whatever I do at the bottom, I have to do the top. So 1 times 2 is 2. So now our new fraction is 1 2/8. Okay, so now let's go ahead and draw our bar models for this. So I'm going to draw that down here, and I'm going to start with what I have first, which is 3 3/8. So I'm going to draw 1 hole, 2 holes, 3 holes, and then over here I'm going to draw the same size, but I'm going to split this into eighths now. So this is half, fourths, and eighths. So our 1 hole is filled in, 2 holes are filled in, 3 holes are filled in, and then 3/8. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So now we have 3/8. So 3 holes and 3/8. But now I'm going to take away 1 and 2/8 because that was our equivalent fraction to 1 and 1/4. So I'm going to take them away. I'm going to cross them off. So I'm going to take out 1 whole for sure. And then I'm going to take out 2/8. So 1, 2. Okay, so what do we have left? We have left 2 holes here. So I'm going to write that down. 2 holes. And then we have 1/8 left that's colored in. 1/8. And that is our answer. 2 and 1/8. Okay, and we don't have to simplify that because 1/8 is in its smallest form. Okay, so that's number 1. Let's go ahead and do number 2 now. So number 2 says, what is 6 and 5/6 minus 4 and 1/3? So I'm going to erase this. So if you didn't get all this down, please pause the video so that you can copy that. And let me erase. And let's do number 2. So number 2 is 6 and 5/6. And we're subtracting 4 and 1/3. Okay, can we do 6 minus 4? Yes. Can we do 5 minus 1? Yes. Okay, so then I don't have to change any of my fractions into an improper fraction first, like we learned yesterday. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make these into our common denominators, though. So we have 6 and 3. So what is our common multiple of 6 and 3? So let's start with our 6's. So 6 times 1, 6 times 2, 6 times 3, 6 times 4. And now let's do our 3. 3 times 1, 3 times 2, 3 times 3, 3 times 4. What is our lowest common multiple that they have in common? Which one? 6, yeah. So I'm going to circle 6, and that's going to be our new denominator. So I'm going to put our equivalent fraction right underneath. So 6 is going to stay the same. Our whole number is going to stay the same. If we're changing it to 6, do we have to change this fraction? No, this one's going to stay the same. So this is going to be 5, 6. Now this one we do have to change. I'm going to bring down my 4, and I'm going to times this by what to get 6? Yeah, I'm going to times it by 2. And whatever I do the bottom, I have to do the top. So 1 times 2 is 2. So now I have 6 and 5/6 minus 4 and 2/6. And now I can subtract because I have the same denominator. I know 6 is bigger than 4 and 5 is bigger than 2, so I can go ahead and subtract that. Let's start with our whole numbers. What is 6 minus 4? 2, yep. And then 5 minus 2? 3, yeah. So now it's 2 and 3/6. But we're not actually done yet because this is not in simplest form. And I know that because even though 3 is a prime number, 3 will go into 6. So I'm going to divide the bottom and the top by 3. And 3 divided by 3 is 1. And 6 divided by 3 is 2. So 2 and 1/2. And that is in simplest form. And there's your answer, 2 and 1/2. Okay, now we're going to move on to number 3. So I'm going to erase this, and if you need it, please pause the video. Okay, number 3. Okay, number 3 says, sometimes it is helpful to rewrite mixed numbers in a form that includes a fraction greater than 1. Use the number line to write the missing numbers. Okay, so on the number line first, I'm going to chart all of my numbers. So 1 and 2, 6, 2 and 5, 6, and 2 and 2, 6, 3 and 1, 6. So that means I'm going to have 6 hash marks between every whole number. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that would be 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 2. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 4. Nope, not 4. 3. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 would be 4. Okay, so I'm first going to chart 1 and 2, 6. So that means it's 1 and then 1, 2, 6. So 1 and 2, 6. Okay, and then we're going to chart 2 and 2, 6. So here's 2, and then I'm going to go over 1, 2, put my dot, and that is 2 and 2, 6. Next is 2 and 5, 6. So here's my 2, and I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hash marks, put my dot, and that is 2 and 5, 6. And my last one is 3 and 1, 6. So here's 3, 1 hash mark, that is 3 and 1, 6. Okay? All right, so next, we're now finding equivalent fractions for each of these, okay? So let's go ahead and start with letter A. So letter A says 1 and 2, 6 is equal to what 6? So what we're going to do right now is we're going to take this one and we're going to make it into a fractional whole. And since our bottom number is 6, we're going to do 6 over 6, which equals 1 whole, plus 2 6. So what is 6 plus 2? 8, yep. So then the box that we're filling in is an 8, and then our denominator is 6. So number 1, the missing number is 8. Okay, let's go on to B. So B says 2 and 5, 6. And it's going to be equal to 1 and a number over 6. Well, I'm not going to do what I did here because I'm going to have 1 whole. So I'm actually only just going to, I'm not going to pull out both wholes, the 2. I'm only going to pull out 1 because I want to keep 1, okay? So that means I'm going to pull out 1 6 over 6. And then I'm going to add that to 5 6. And then I'm still going to have 1 whole left. Okay, so here's 1 whole, 2 wholes, and 5 6. So what is 6 plus 5? 11. So my answer is going to be 1 and 11 6. Okay, let's go on to letter C now. Okay, letter C says 2 and 2, 6. So 2 and 2, 6. And that's going to be equal to 1 and something over 6. We're going to do the same thing that we did in letter B. We're only going to pull out 1 whole. So I'm going to keep 1 whole the same. And then 1 whole I'm going to put into a fraction. So 6 over 6. And then I'm going to add 2 6. And what is 6 plus 2? 8, yeah. So that means my answer that I'm filling in is going to be 8. Okay, letter D. Okay, letter D says 3 and 1 6. So 3 and 1 6. And I'm finding an equivalent fraction that's going to have a whole number, because there's 3 blanks here. It's going to have whole number and then a fraction part. Well, we already know that the bottom part of the fraction is going to be 6, because that's what our denominators have been this whole time. But since we have a blank for a whole number, that means I'm probably only going to pull out one whole number. So let's say my 3, I'm going to make it a 2, and then I'm going to do 6 over 6 for my third whole. Okay, so I have 2 wholes plus 1 whole that's represented as a fraction, plus 1 6. So now we add our numerators, 6 plus 1, and that is 7. So my missing number for my numerator is going to be 7, and my missing whole number is going to be 2. That's a weird 2. Can everyone see that, hopefully? Okay, so there's our answer, 2 and 7, 6 for letter D. Okay, I'm going to erase what we have here, and we'll do number 4. And then number 5, you're going to do on your own. I have provided an answer key in Canvas so you can check your answer, but we'll do number 4 together first, okay? So let me erase. And let's do number 4. Number 4 says, what is 3 1/3 minus 1 1/2? So pretty simple, 3 1/3 minus 1 1/2. Okay, can we do 3 minus 1? Yes. Can we do 1 minus 1? Yes. So let's go ahead and try and see if we make this into equivalent fractions, if we can just go ahead and subtract and not have to change them into improper fractions first. Okay, so let's start with this one. So we have our 2 denominators are 3 and 2. So let's go ahead and write our LCMs for those. So let me bring it down a little bit just so we have some room. Okay, so for the number 3, what are our multiples? 3, 6, 9, 12. I'll stop there. Let's do our 2. So we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, what is the lowest common multiple? Which one do they have in common? The 6, yep. So that means I'm going to change my denominators to 6's. So I'm going to do that right down here. I'm going to bring down my whole number, 3 and 1. And now here's where I'm going to change my numerator. So 3 times what equals 6? 3 times 2. And whatever I do the bottom, I have to do the top. So what's 1 times 2? 2. And now I'm going to do the same thing here. 2 times what equals 6? 3. And whenever I do the bottom, I have to do the top. So 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, now we can see what we really have here. And we do have 3 minus 1, which we can still do. But now we have 2 minus 3, which we can't do. So guess what that means? We need to make these if an improper fraction so we can subtract. Okay? So I'm going to erase my multiples here so I have more room. And we're going to change this into an improper fraction. So my 3 wholes are now going to become 6 over 6. So 6, let me just do it in red. My black seemed to be not working. Okay, so 6 over 6, that's 1 whole. 6 over 6, that's 2 wholes. 6 over 6, that's 3 wholes. And then I'm going to add 2 6. So let's add all those together. 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 2. Well, 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 6 is 18. 18 plus 2 is 20. So my new fraction for 3 and 2 6 is 20 over 6. Okay, now let's go ahead and do the same thing for my other one. So my 1 whole is going to be 6 over 6. And I'm going to add that to 3 over 6. That one was pretty simple. So what's 6 over 6 plus 3 over 6? 9, 6. Yep, 9, 6. So now I'm going to subtract these two. So I'm going to subtract 20 over 6 minus 9 over 6. Because those were my two equivalent fractions, but improper fractions. So what's 20 minus 9? 11, right? 11 6. Okay, now let's go ahead and pull a 6th out of that so we can make it into a whole number. So I'm going to subtract 6 over 6. That's 1 whole. And what do I get left over? So what's 11 minus 6? 5. Yeah, 5, 6. So that means together I have 1 whole here and then the 5, 6. So my answer is 1 and 5, 6. Can you guys see that? The blue's hard to see, huh? 1 and 5, 6. There we go. That's a little bit better. Okay, 1 and 5, 6. And that is your answer for number 4. Okay, so number 5 you will do on your own, and then check your answer with the answer key in Canvas. And that's all you have today. So check, math is done. ST Math and Science, and you guys are good to go. Of course, if you have any questions, come see me during my office hours of 12:30 to 1:30. I miss you guys and I can't wait to see you tomorrow. All right, bye.